Hey, well, welcome back, everyone, to this Friday checkout episode of Check-In with Bryan. I'm your host, Bryan Fish, and I am joined once again by my partner in crime here, Tyler Alexander. And it is Black Friday, which means we're looking for deals. And have you found any deals yet, Tyler, in Ocean City, Maryland?
No, I'm back in Ocean City visiting my family. This place is a ghost town during this time of year, though. So I have not found any deals. I did find some deals online for some music software stuff, though.
Okay.
So yeah, that's usually my guilty pleasure around this time of the year.
Right. I found a lot of deals on plugins for like WordPress. Ironically, like that's been my thing this week, is I've been finding all these plugin packs you can get that usually are, let's say $100. They're all like 60 or 80% off. So like for nothing, you can get the pack.
That's my thing too, is like some of this stuff that I use for like editing. It's like, it's more so on the music side and the audio side, but there's certain little things that like make a huge difference. And it's like, oh, this thing's $3,000. And I'm like, what? And then they're like, oh, well, Black Friday, it's like $400. And I'm like, that's not bad at all. I'm like, that's
a deal.
That's a good deal, actually. Yeah. And I start to wonder, I'm like, is it actually $3,000?
Yeah, no, it was never worth $3,000.
Yeah, they just see who they can grab throughout the rest of the year, and then they mark it up or mark it down, I should say.
So we've had a good 2 weeks of guests. So we had Sarah Dandashy came on the first week. We were back from fall break. So we had her last week. And then this week we had Stephen Barth was on from hospitalitylaw.com. And I'm both interviews, I'm still like looking back and still like listening to and still getting like feedback from people. I think we have to talk about Sarah again, because I did speak with Sarah this week, and she had the same not epiphany, that's not the right word, but she had the same experience I have had with the clip that was circulating about her analogy about the airlines and how they're in the service business. They're not in the business of hospitality.
Yeah, that was a great clip.
It was a very great clip. And, she came up, that was not pre-rehearsed. Like it was a legit response from her when I asked the question, or when I even made the comment. She interjected when I made the comment about how airlines get away with things that hotels never could be able to get away with. So, like that was like the mic drop moment, I felt like, from everything that we released from that episode. There was a lot of great content in it, but a lot of people reached out regarding that one piece of knowledge. I'm going to call it. It's not even advice. It's knowledge.
And that's the thing too with her. It's like, I feel like there's like so many little pieces. I mean, I see the episode constantly with going back and editing it and stuff and checking out and chopping that up. But there's so many like bite-sized pieces and stuff too in there that just they're great takeaways from anyone in hospitality or just in general. But yeah, she's got a lot of great information throughout that episode.
No, so I definitely have a different view on air travel now. After she said that, it's like, no, the goal is to get you from point A to point B.
And that's it.
So, and I even made the comment to her when I was speaking to her this week. I said, directness is still key for me too. So I'll slum it if I have to and go on an airline I normally wouldn't go on if it's going to be more direct and quick. So
yeah, layovers. I don't really have too many layovers these days, but when I do, I'm kind of like, damn. I'm like, this is a huge waste of time.
It's a big waste of time. Waste of time. And some people you can book a basic economy ticket, which, did you see my PSA that I put out to everybody this week on Tuesday as they were getting ready to go to the airport?
I did.
It's okay if you didn't. Oh, you did. Okay. Fantastic. Yeah. Thank you. I at least had one viewer.
I stay up on viewing your stuff. Yeah.
No, I was seeing people like pack their cars as I was driving to where I was going on Tuesday. And I'm thinking, these people are going to try to carry on all this luggage. And you and I have seen it before. These people like roll up to the gate with like these massive suitcases and everything, thinking as if they're going to get that into the overhead bin. And so I look at it now through the airlines or service industry analogy as, okay, I can't necessarily say that it's bad that they're going to be kind of rough with you when they're trying to explain to you that your shit's not going to fit in the bin. But I do question. I said, I will judge you. I will judge you. If you will roll up to the gate and your suitcase is obviously larger than the bin, and then you get on the plane and it doesn't fit,
people like to, I know those people, this is not their first time flying either.
Right.
Like usually I feel like the people who are first time flyers or like non-frequent flyers are the people who are very cautious about what they're bringing on and overlook at the rules kind of, because they're like, they don't want to be the person who's getting yelled at or getting like,
No.
last minute, like overcharged or something like that at the gate.
100%.
But, one thing that's a really big pet peeve of mine, I don't know if this happens to you a lot. This only happens with me through JFK, but they will have some people like right by the security checkpoints right after you check your bags, making sure that your overhead bin luggage fits in their little
in the sizer.
Yeah, but like they don't. If they point at you and ask you to go ahead and put your bag in there, they will not leave you alone, which is annoying because like I'm one of the few people that you see that have like a smaller overhead luggage bag, and they are always grabbing me, and it's always like the times that I'm like, man, I really need to get by this line right now, and I'm like, this is a pain in the ass.
Right. Well, let's take it back up on it's a service business. They're not in hospitality. So the reason they're doing that though, Tyler, is they got to check off a box that they checked somebody. They got to be seen that they're doing something.
Yeah.
So they know because they can see your suitcase. They know it's going to fit in the sizer more than likely.
Really?
You're an easy target. You're an easy target.
That's why I'm like, why is it always me?
Right?
Like,
it looks like you're like following the rules. It looks like they're enforcing the rules, but meanwhile they know it's an exercise in insanity because obviously your suitcase will fit.
And that's my thing. It's like I'm always putting it in, and they're like, "Sorry, can you please check it?" I'm like, "This is literally the smallest bag I've seen in the past 20 people that have walked by."
Right.
And so, honestly, that makes this makes sense now.
Yeah, you're just an easy target for them.
I'll call them out next time. I'll be like, "You're only picking on me because you know it doesn't fit, or
you're picking on me because I have a small suitcase." So you're sizest.
Yeah.
No, that's why I can't. Well, I check a bag a lot these days, but I do carry on a bag, but I'm always cautious. Like I have one suitcase that I know, even if it's full, it will fit in the overhead bin, but I can't go up a size at all.
I don't know. It's like a weird, like mental thing. I always like carrying as much as I can personally, just cause I've just had, yeah. Which is funny, but like a lot of people will be like, complimentary, like bag check. They're like, oh yeah, sure. Boom. Just hand the bags over, walk through the gate. I like keeping my stuff on hand because I don't want any of my stuff disappearing.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, like pack all your good stuff and the things you don't want to have to live without for a while. Yeah.
It's usually all of our camera equipment. It's
usually all the equipment.
My smaller bag.
Right. Yeah, which we can do a whole other show about that. Our experience at Newark Airport
oh my God,
earlier this year. That was exciting. But no, I had to put that out for people because I'm like, I know that you're going to take your suitcase onto the plane. And a lot of these people probably book basic economy tickets on Frontier Airlines or Spirit Airlines. And there's going to be a fight at the gate. I haven't read about anything like happening this week yet, but I'm interested. I'm like, I
feel like those representatives too for those airlines do not play.
Oh no. They are clearly in the service industry. Yeah. They do not care. They are like, look, I got to get you on your way. And if it doesn't meet the rules, your bag's got to go.
Yeah.
No, it's insane. Absolutely insane. But luckily I'm not flying this week either. You had to drive to Maryland. I'm just staying here in Phoenix.
My parents were up and visiting in New York, so I hopped in the car with them on the way back instead of having to deal with all the normal holiday travel madness.
Oh. Well, I'm happy to be back in Phoenix and not in New York this week, where I was.
Yeah, you were just out there. Unfortunately, we didn't get to catch each other. I had a bit of a cold last week, so I was trying to.
And you've been healed. It's a miracle.
I've been healed. Yeah, it's like, if you actually stay in and like don't go out and drink and hang out, you can suddenly be healed.
You'll suddenly recover so much faster.
so much
easier. Although don't they usually give alcohol to like babies that are sick?
I'm not sure.
I mean, I don't think they intentionally give the alcohol. Well, no, they do intentionally give the alcohol to the babies.
Good Miller Lite for a baby.
No, but we then also had Stephen Barth on this week, which was probably would you say that was the most technical interview we've had?
Yeah, so that's what the thing too. We really didn't put disclaimers out. It is one of our longer episodes, but this was the first time we kind of like dove into like a case study with the whole Sonder Marriott situation. So there was a point where like I normally try to clip. We have so many different questions and stuff that we ask the guests. That's like we can chop this piece out, just to condense it and make the listener just kind of go through it, the full episode. But This was the first
Not
time
this
that I
one.
was like, I feel like I just have to keep all of this in because it was so flowing, or the conversation flowed from point A to point B in such a really detailed manner that like the listener really should probably hear it all. But yeah, if you haven't checked it out, definitely recommend go checking it out.
Which what I did find very interesting, I'm sure you noticed this as you were editing it, is I could not get him to give an opinion on the whole debacle. He was not going to give an opinion on
You
the whole
could definitely
debacle.
tell he's a seasoned lawyer.
He is. Yeah. I'm like, this is what happens when you bring in a lawyer on the show. Like,
Yeah.
I cannot get a straight answer if they were handling this correctly or not. But yeah, no, it was very interesting.
Yeah,
and Sonder's still in the news today. Like this week on Good Morning Hospitality, Sarah and I can't remember who her co-host was this week. They were talking about it as well. That it's still in the news and it's going to be in the news for quite some time.
For a long time. Yeah. And, he's also a professor at, I think it was at University of Houston.
University, I think it's UT. Is it UT Houston or University of Houston? Yeah.
But it's out there. And, it's kind of cool. I'm wondering if he'll, slowly have other like schools with hospitality programs that will bring this up as a case study. Cause I just remember being in college and there's, especially with like going through like business school and marketing, there's so many case studies that we looked at that like were your big ones. And I'm wondering if this will start to fall in line with one of those big ones, at least in more recent times.
Well, I think the Sonder ordeal is going to become a case study at some point, and we'll see how everything irons out. But I think most people have gotten to where they needed to go at this point. Now the issue is guests are trying to get their money back, which we won't get into that today. But you can go check out the episode and learn all about that. But it's.
I was going to say it's really cool too. Like, I mean, even from like outside of the like owner operator perspective and like seeing on the detailed like business side, even just being like more of a consumer on like someone on my end too, was definitely an interesting case study because, it can happen. And like, as we were talking a little bit about like travel insurance and things like that, especially around the holidays and traveling so much around this time of year.
It's a good idea.
It's a good idea. And it's like all that stuff too. I'm the first person like who is always like, no, I don't need to get travel insurance. It's fine. And then I start to really think, I'm like, like if I needed to last minute, like just fork over like $3-4 grand to keep my trip what it was supposed to be, like that would be a pain in the ass.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things until it happens to you, you don't
think it's going to happen to you. Yeah. Right. And it's like little minor things that you don't think, like even getting like, plane tickets or like, I never even really thought that was a thing that could happen at a hotel. To where like next thing you're getting like booted out. Like I thought the only way you could do that if you're smoking some pot like in the hotel or
that works too.
That's an easy one, but that's a little bit more voluntary.
But I think to your point, I think from a consumer perspective, Stephen kind of hit it head on with the fact that these hotels, like how these things are structured, you don't actually know who owns it, who you're giving your money to, all this. There is a sign on the front of the building, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's who took your money or who has your money or who owes you the money.
Yeah.
So, and I think we mentioned this. It's a good chunk of money for some of these people, but it's not enough money where you're going to really blow a bunch of legal fees trying to fight about it. So if anything, I think the credit card companies will take the brunt of it. And then hopefully there's travel insurance. But again, insurance is there as a safety net, and you don't always use the insurance. And that's the point of insurance. So it does make you think, should you, especially if you're going to spend what's been reported in some of these articles I've read, people had spent like $10,000 plus on some of these stays. I would say the travel insurance for whatever the price is probably a good idea in that event.
Yeah. And what's funny is like, I don't think one thing too that we can mention to some of the audience is like, I think a big reason we dove into this so deeply, and if you like go back to some of our past episodes, like earlier in the fall, like when you were in New York, you were staying at a Sonder. And this is kind of like literally, I just remember we were like, there's a few things that you had mentioned that you were kind of like curious about how this is working. And then you're like, this is just so odd. And like, I remember I went to check out your place, and this is in New York City. And this was bigger than like some of my friends' like studio apartments, and like had a full kitchen, washer dryer, Beautiful
Big
rooftop
bathroom.
pool. Like it was an amazing space. It's like a top.
Yeah.
It was like I was like, wow, this is. And you're like, I'm going to stay here every time. And then lo and behold,
But I think we did joke about, well, how long will this last? Like,
yeah, that's the funny thing. It's like we didn't really dive into that with Stephen, but like, oh my god, that was funny that like all this transpired the way it did, like right after you stayed there.
no, it just made me think though, like going back, looking at it, it's like, yeah, when I was there, I was questioning a lot because I'm thinking, I even made the comment, I think, about the service because like the staff was not necessarily happy about the fact that like there were hotel guests there. And there were a lot of people that were checking in and checking out every day, which for that model that they had, again, that's like the more people that check in and check out, that's higher cost.
And you said too, like there was there's a pretty hefty, like some of the rooms were pretty pricey in terms of
like the one I was in, if I had been paying full price, I want to say it was like $800.
Yeah. And that's just like, imagine getting that for like a 2-week period and then like prepaying that. And then next thing you know, you're out of, you're out of 10 grand right there. Like,
right. And then now you have to go get a hotel that in New York City potentially could cost you the same more
price.
At the last minute.
Especially if you want the same accommodations.
Right. So, but the whole situation just seemed weird. I knew it was too good to be true. I went there once. It never happened again. They've now gone out of business.
Yeah.
But I think it just goes to show like all these marriages are not made to anyone's benefit, because I think both companies clearly lost in this. But I do think what was happening, I'm speculating here, this is not the truth, unless it is the truth, if somebody can confirm or deny this. I'm guessing that they also were taking Bonvoy points as well. So all the points that people were accruing at other hotels, they were able to use at Sonder, the Sonder locations, which I'm guessing they weren't getting much of a reimbursement on, because hotels typically only get about the average daily rate or cost of the room back on those. They're not really getting, if their rate's $600, they're not getting $600 that night.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
When you're cashing in points. So I do wonder if there was like a run on people using points to stay there.
Due to the pricing, like, I'm assuming.
Yeah, due to the pricing. Like it would have been like, hey, like I can cash my points and it's a good value from the consumer standpoint. But clearly something went wrong. I think that we're going to know a year or two from now exactly what went wrong. And I think as they move through bankruptcy, we'll be able to find out more about what happened. Yeah. But I do think I see it from both sides in terms of from the Marriott side as well as the guests' perspective. I think guests are very, very frustrated, and rightfully so, with Marriott in terms of the fact that Marriott's not offering them many solutions to problems. And in many cases, just saying, call your credit card company and dispute the charges. However, where I do understand Marriott's position is, just like we talked about on Tuesday, these hotels are independently owned. Sonder was an independent entity in of itself as well. And the same situation occurs when a hotel, the Bob Smith Hotel down the street goes out of business and it's part of a franchise. That hotel, Bob Smith's the one that actually owes you. It's not the name on the building.
Yeah, and as a consumer, like it was that actually like blew my mind too. And like, I mean, you and Stephen both mentioned that it's not really like public knowledge, or like at least
it's not very clear.
It's not advertised public knowledge that like Marriott, like even though they operate something like 7,000-8,000 location, or they don't operate, their name's behind 7,000 to 8,000 or whatever the number is. Right. It's an astronomical number, but there's only like
I think 50, it's like 9,000 maybe now. It's insane.
Yeah, there's only like 50 that they actually own or have like operation. Like, and so, which is crazy.
And those 50 can be a rolling basis, because a lot of times they're only owning the hotels that are in trouble. So,
if it's off their feet.
If it's a good location and the owner's in trouble, sometimes the franchisor will buy the hotel and they'll get it back up to snuff, and then they'll turn around and sell it again. But interesting conversation. I was glad that we were able to keep most of the cut.
Oh, yeah.
So I think people will find it, especially those geeks in the hospitality world, will find it very interesting. So, but I want to have Stephen back more.
Yeah, at the end too, there's some good some tips for some owners and operators as well too, that people can go check out.
Now it is Black Friday, so let's talk about something a little bit happier, which is if you're planning a travel getaway, Hilton just rolled out one of their biggest annual promotions, the Hilton sale, and it's live right now. Guests can save up to 25% across thousands of Hilton properties, including brands like Hampton, Homewood Suites, True, and Spark. Higher-end brands such as Hilton Hotels and Resorts, Conrad, and Canopy are offering 20% off, which is a solid steal for premium stays. So the booking window runs through December the 15th, and there are discounted stay dates all the way through April 6th of 2026. So you have about 14 more days to cash in. So yeah. So only term and condition really is that you need to book it 7 days in advance. So use it for a weekend, a business day, or hotel hop from hotel to hotel. We've done that before. So that's very fun.
Yeah. So, I know my mom is a big, she tries to look for good deals and stuff like that too. Do you have any like tips or advice for someone who's normally going in to look for kind of like better packages or offers around this time of year, just from having your, expertise? I don't know.
Ironically, there is. I would not stay away from Expedia, all those like the normal like third party sites like at booking.com and stuff. You'll see some deals, but the reality is you're really not getting a deal. If you're traveling, if you're flying, one of the best things that people don't realize is if you go to like American Airlines or Delta, I think United has it as well. Southwest has it. I think a lot of the big airlines now have it. They'll have a vacation site. So you can go on there. Like I know Americans is like aavacations.com. Delta, I want to say it's like Delta Vacations. But those are actually the best deals a lot of times. Even in high season, it can be the best deal because if you need a hotel and a flight, you're usually getting a much better deal because it's packaged together. Now, the industry secret on that is the hotel is really the one giving up most of the discount in that scenario, but they've already allocated inventory for that. And, sometimes you will get a deal on the flight, but booking it all together that way ends up being a better deal. And the airline sites that have the vacation packages on them typically are much more aggressive with discounts available than like an Expedia where you could still book a flight and a hotel, especially if you're going international, because internationally, especially anywhere within the European Union, there's a rule we have in the business about parity. That rule does not exist overseas because it's considered anti-competitive measure. So they don't allow companies to say if you sell this for this price here, you have to sell it for this price here. It's really a free market over there. So I would check the airline sites. Like it seems crazy because you'll get like the rental car ads and stuff. Don't do a rental car through the airline. That's a bad idea.
Okay.
But hotels, if you bundle your hotel and flight together, that's the best deal to go to the airline.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, if you don't have any other way to get a discount, it's usually a better discount. And sometimes it's honestly been a better discount for me over the years than when I would book like an employee rate when I was working at a hotel. So
that's pretty sweet.
It's just check it out, and obviously book early. That's the biggest.
Yeah. That's my thing. It's like I feel like there's so much like summer travel that goes on that like people book it out in spring and stuff, and I'm sure there's like deals around that time to get that last little bit of summer travel. But I'm sure like if you book something out next year for like even like June, like May, like you could probably find some great deals right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's 3 to 5 months is the sweet spot. I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't get like some people have this idea like if you wait like 14 days out, like all of a sudden something changes. Nothing changes.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that changed is technology. So like we talked a lot about AI, 2 weeks ago with Sarah.
Yeah.
Like all the rates, Tyler, are all controlled now by systems with very fancy algorithms that are determining when we are going to open and close rates. And so some of that old school thought of like, oh, wait 2 weeks and do this doesn't really work because the system's learning people's patterns. So it's able to recommend to the operator.
There's that old like flight trick that like buy flights on Tuesdays or like stuff like that too. I don't know if that even is a thing anymore.
It could be. That's an interesting question we should dive into sometime because I'm not sure. I know that historically for hotels, I would say if you booked on like a Tuesday or Wednesday night, typically you could find a good rate because that was because that's typically the day that the hotel was having a revenue meeting to make adjustments.
Okay.
Whereas now we're making adjustments on a daily basis sometimes.
Yeah.
sometimes 6 or 7 days a week, sometimes 6 or 7 times a day.
Yeah, and these
So,
algorithms are like getting so like just intense and complex that like there's I doubt that like, you know, your average like Joe Smo like travel influencer has beat the
no.
multi-million dollar algorithm that people are still constantly updating. And you know, there's LLMs behind it now that are just like going insane, and these learning models are just like, you know, they've learned X, Y, and Z so far, so I doubt that you can get past X.
Right. And I do think like as ChatGPT and all the other AI tools get more advanced, people are using them to plan travel right now. I think they're going to be becoming something that you'll be able to actually book travel through at some point as well.
Yeah. I'm wondering when there's going to be like a new, like, because that's a big thing with AI is like, you know, you have your overall models to give like, for example, like OpenAI is like ChatGPT, you have Claude, there's Grok on X. Like, I'm wondering when there's just going to be all these little tiny models that are owned by, let's just say like the airlines. There might be like an airline model specifically with like airline questions, or like a hotel model. I'm thinking in the next five years or so.
Hotels, at least in the hospitality space for like hotel companies, it used to be they wanted to develop all their tools in-house, which is why we're very slow to adopt anything new.
Yeah.
But the trend the last like decade has been to purchase technology from people. So I have a feeling that like OpenAI and stuff would get to the point, X would get to the point where they're selling the platform, and then the company takes it and, you know, specializes from there, very much like Salesforce does. So Salesforce basically is a product that you and I could just go buy online right now, but the most companies that use it, they've made massive customization to it. So, and then they usually call it something else. They don't just call it Salesforce.
Yeah.
So one thing is there's a big, like, I don't think people always understand what is AI and what's not, because anymore, everything is called AI. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of the systems the hotels still use today that are communicating with guests, they're not really AI, they're machine learning models. So someone has either reviewed input, output, and made changes, or they've pre-programmed what's happening.
Yeah.
And I feel like you can tell that with like customer service when you're chatting online with different companies right now. You can kind of tell who's actually using an actual like AI versus the machine model, where it's like, okay, I've told you this 7 different ways. Why do you keep telling me the exact same answer? And it tells you the exact same answer because it doesn't know any other answer.
Is when you're trying to solve a situation and you're like, I just need to get to the option to chat with an agent. And it's impossible to find that too. Like,
well, like they do everything possible so you don't need to speak to somebody.
Yeah.
It's insane. Were you up very early this morning to go try to like stand in line anywhere? Like,
no.
What are the kids looking for this year?
I used to be a huge Black Friday guy in high school. And it was more so like going to get some video games and like going to the mall and trying to find like a new pair of sneakers or some shirts or stuff like that too. But I feel like everyone's transitioned so hard over to online shopping that, you know, that like old traditional Black Friday is like, you know, completely died.
Yeah, it has, because it goes on for a week or two.
Yeah,
and some places started Black Friday in October.
Yeah, and then like I don't know if you remember, like people like would call it like Cyber Monday. That back in like I want to say like, you know, early like 2010 to like 2015, it was like a big thing. But now they've extended it all, so it's like you can kind of shop. As of like last week, everyone's like, it's Black Friday sales, and I'm like, well, you know, it's like the Friday before Black Friday. Kind of confused at the term anymore. It's just like a holiday sale at this point.
Yeah, that's very true. And then we're going to roll right into Cyber Monday.
Yeah.
So,
you know, what's crazy too is I saw an ad for DoorDash the other day that you can get your holiday shopping done via DoorDash and Instacart. So like you can send someone to go get like, and I'm not talking like a normal, like, oh, like a little like prepackaged gift from like, here's a gift card here. It's like you can get like a full like bicycle from like someone via DoorDash, and like all the stores they
No, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this, because the reality is I order my dinner on DoorDash and half the time it's wrong.
Yeah.
So
I can only imagine. You spend $300 on like, you know, and like you can go to Dick's and like, you know, I saw this one thing. So I looked it up, and I like Dick's Sporting's good. You could get like an entire golf club set, and it was like something like $2,500. And I'm like, I can't imagine sending someone $2,500, like a company, and then like letting this random dude just go pick it up and then drop it off. And I'm like, there's a level of laziness that comes with that. And I understand like some people might have, a lot of kids and like plans and all these things going on to where like you get a last minute gift like here or there. Or like, oh man, I forgot like so-and-so's coming to this holiday party and like they can't have X, Y, or Z. So let's get them something new like that. I can see where the use of that, but like the extent of like the stuff that they're selling is insane.
That's crazy. I love this. You know what, Tyler? This has been great catching up with you. And I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Yeah,
Thanksgiving was good. I still have to do my my big dinner tomorrow. My brother is coming in late, so we're doing like a late family dinner tomorrow at my grandparents. So
okay, well there you go.
Yeah,
you know what? Turkey's good. And I can't leave without saying, did you love?
I was just gonna say, yeah.
Did you love? Did I deliver?
I loved it. Honestly, I'm a big kitchen fanatic, and I think the turkey looked good.
Yeah, it was good. Although I did get some advice next time I should wrap it more like a mummy.
Okay.
I guess even more cheesecloth works out really well.
Yeah. So like really get that in there to hold in all the flavors. That's one thing I've never done. I've never cooked a turkey.
Well, maybe the next time you're in Phoenix, we should just do one for fun.
I'll hit you up for some advice.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. Well, it was great seeing you, and happy post-Thanksgiving. And for those of you out there watching or listening, hopefully you are recovering from your emotional damage that you may have incurred from your families over Thanksgiving Day. Don't forget, be a good person, return the Tupperware. So if you take anything home, make sure you return the Tupperware.
That's a great piece of advice.
Yeah, unless it's one of those like disposable things and someone said to return it, don't return it. Don't do that.
This is a great time to ask for extra boxes at restaurants.
It is.
Because you can go ahead and restaurants are usually overstocked currently. So can go ahead and
then have those at home ready to be able to give those out.
Exactly.
You'll need them for Christmas too. So, and New Year's. We are giving all the advice that you need today.
Yeah. Any holiday and travel advice, come here.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And everybody else, we hope you had a fantastic holiday weekend and it continues to be a good holiday weekend. And then we will be back on Tuesday with a new episode of Check In with Bryan. And then Tyler and I will be back with you again next Friday.
See you guys then.
Awesome. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
This episode of the Friday Checkout is a production of RH Media Productions. Hosted by Bryan Fish. Executive producer Tyler Alexander. Marketing support provided by Sunny Tembler. Thanks for checking out with us. Be sure to follow the Check-In with Bryan wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss our next episode coming next Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Reliance Hospitality Global Incorporated or any of its affiliates, partners, or subsidiaries. All content is for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be interpreted as professional or legal advice.